I previously made a video all about how you can say to open something in Korean, and I'll link that in the video description below, including verbs like 열다. And I thought it would be good to also make a video about how you can say to close. Now, the most common way to say to close something in Korean is just with the verb 닫다. Now, this verb is good for most situations, but there are some cases where this would be wrong, or at least unnatural. So in this video, I will also be referencing verbs for to open, but I recommend knowing those in advance before starting this episode because I do go into them in more detail in that other video. Again, links in the description below. Now, you can actually use the verb 닫다 in any situation, and it will at least make sense. It just might not be the most natural way to do it. So in my previous video, we learned the verb 뜯다. This one is for opening something that was stuck closed. So something that you open by ripping or tearing, like opening a letter or a package or a bag of snacks. And it's opposite. So how do you say to close something like that? Well, you can use the verb 붙이다. Notice the spelling. It's 붙이다 becomes 붙이다 when read. 붙이다. Now, 붙이다 doesn't actually mean to close. It actually means to stick. And this is closing something that you previously ripped or tore or opened up like that, and using something like tape or glue to put it back together. So if you're closing something up by kind of taping it back together, sticking it back together, that would be 붙이다. So that would be what you do with a bag of snacks, or maybe reclosing a package that you opened up, something like that. Another verb I taught in that video was 닫다, which is anything that you open by like pulling on it. So that would be like a bottle or maybe a can, anything with like a cork in it, anything like that would be 닫다. Now for this one, you actually have two ways to say to close. The first one is 덮다. 덮다 is actually covering. So this would be anything where you're putting a lid back on to a container. Or if you want to just close something like this, but you're not really covering it to close it, then you can just use the regular verb 닫다 again. Another verb we learned was 펴다, which is anything that you open by unfolding it. So that can be like an umbrella or a book. Or you can like unfold a note. And the opposite of that, well, if this is unfold, then to close something that was folded, well, you would fold it again, and that would be 접다. So 접다 literally means to fold, but that's how you would say that you're closing an umbrella or maybe closing back up a note by folding it. And this is also the regular verb for folding anything. Okay, let's get some more space here. So now let's talk about a few other ways that you can say to close. First, if you just want to say you want to close a bank account, just use the regular verb 닫다. Alternatively, you also could use the verb 해지하다 to mean to close a bank account, but this one actually doesn't mean to close, it simply means to cancel. But you can also use it if you want. Next, in the previous video, we talked about two verbs for saying to open your eyes, 눈을 뜨다, and to open your mouth, 입을 벌리다. Well, the opposites of those would be 눈을 감다. Notice that it's 감다, not 감다. So 눈을 감다 would be to close your eyes. And this verb also has a couple other uses. It can also be used to figuratively die, so someone closes their eyes. And it can also be used to say to turn a blind eye, like you're closing your eyes on purpose. You're pretending you didn't see something that someone else did. And the opposite of 입을 벌리다, to open your mouth, would be 입을 닫다. So just to close your mouth. Now, you might be thinking, but Billy, I've seen this verb before. 입을 닥치다. Well, this one does also mean to close your mouth, but it's more like to shut your mouth, and it has all of the negative connotation as to shut. So this would be like you're yelling at someone and you tell them, you know, shut your mouth with 입을 닥치다. So don't use this for close your mouth. Yeah, it's not nice. And in the last video, we learned the Hanja, K, which means open. Now, I didn't write the Hanja here, I'm just writing the sound of it. Well, the opposite of this for open would be 폐. For example, 개학 would be school starting again after a break, and that is open. 학 is learning, so learning opens again. And in that video, we also learned words specifically like 개교, which is a school being opened, so establishing a school. And the opposite of that would be 폐교, which is closing a school, shutting down a school. Now, note though that 폐 has one additional usage with Hanja, and that is to mean abandoned. So you might see 폐 used before a type of building to mean abandoned of that. For example, 폐교 can also be used to mean an abandoned school, or maybe you see the word 폐가, which is house, so an abandoned house, 폐가. I've been listening to a lot of horror stories in Korean lately. And we also learned the word 개업, which is opening or starting a business, and the opposite of that would be 폐업, so closing down a business. And that is all of the ways I could think of for how to say to close. Are there any others? Did I miss some? Please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.